Hi everyone, I'm Sandy and welcome back to my channel. Today I have my June reading plans, my pile of possibilities, my TBR, whatever you prefer to call it. It is basically all the books that I'm hoping to be able to get to in the month of June, and it is a month of buddy reads. A very large number of buddy reads, which I absolutely love doing. So I'm thrilled that I have so many planned for June. But it is definitely a lot. It doesn't feel quite as intimidating as last month because last month I had a 1,700 page book on there with 2 volumes. This does not have any book even remotely close to that size. I also am not judging the BookTube prize around the next round. I just need a little bit of break from that. I read 11 books off of the BookTube prize so far this year, and I just feel like I need to take a little break from it. So we'll see if I'm able to get back for the final round, but for this one I'm going to take a pause. So what do I have stacked up in this massive pile of books? Oh, very exciting set of books. So the first book is For My 1001 Book Club, and it really is to celebrate Pride Month, which is why I selected it, and it is Go Tell It on the Mountain by James Baldwin. I have read one other James Baldwin book, which was Giovanni's Room, and absolutely loved it. Very high expectations for this book. I hope it lives up to everything that I want it to be. It's also not super thick, which makes it great for a book club pick. I hope you will join me. My link to my Discord will be in the description below for you, so you can go and check out that. But yeah, James Baldwin, I'm going to try my book number 2. So we'll see how this one goes. The next book is actually a book that was on my May TBR and was for Jen the Librarian's EM Forster read along that she is hosting all year long. And the one thing is, so in June, I ended up moving this from May to June so that I could do it as a buddy read with Marilyn Maya Mendoza, the baby boomer booktuber. She's absolutely fantastic. I will leave her linked in the description below for you. And I highly recommend doing a buddy read with her if you ever get the opportunity to. But we will be reading EM Forster's A Room with a View. This was the May pick for Jen the Librarian's read along. There isn't a June pick. It is a adaptation, I believe. So it's perfectly great that I get to postpone this until June, and I do get to read it with Marilyn. This particular one, it says first published in 1908, A Room with a View portrays the love of a British woman for an expatriate living in Italy. Caught up in a world of social snobbery, Foster's heroine Lucy Honeychurch finds herself constrained by the claustrophobic influence of her British guardians, who encourage her to take up with a well-connected bore. In the end, however, Lucy takes control of her own fate and finds love with a man whose free spirit reminds her of A Room with a View. All right then, I'm curious to see who the bore is, but this one will be in June with Marilyn. I have more buddy reads with booktubers. I will definitely leave them all linked in the description below for you, but I will be reading my first novel by Perec. It's this one, Avoid. I will be reading this with Greg at Another Bibliophile Reads. He was so kind to be also participating in reading The Man Without Qualities, which was the 1,700 page monstrosity that I was tackling in May. This is my first novel by Perec, so I have no idea what to expect. I have an impression in my head that this is going to be a very intellectual kind of novel, but I'm basing that on absolutely nothing. So I am really looking forward to picking this one up. It says the year is 1968, and as France is torn apart by social and political anarchy, the noted eccentric and insomniac Anton Voll goes missing. Ransacking his parents' flat, his best friends scour his diary for clues to his whereabouts. At first glance, these pages reveal nothing but Val's penchant for word games, especially lipograms, compositions in which the use of a particular letter is suppressed. Okay, but as the friends work out Val's verbal puzzles and as they investigate various leads discovered among their entries, they too disappear one by one and under the most mysterious circumstances. Maybe it's not a deeply intellectual novel. Maybe I'm completely wrong about that. I'm very intrigued now, where before I wasn't sure. I'm curious. So this one, like I said, I'll be doing as a buddy read with Greg at Another Bibliophile Reads. The next book is a one that I have owned for a bit but have not gotten to. I will be reading this as a buddy read with Anne Novella, and we'll be reading Americanah. I'm very excited to pick this particular one up. I haven't read anything by this author. I want to say I've read half of A Yellow Sun, but I remember nothing about it. I'll have to do a reread of this particular book. This is actually one of the larger books on my TBR for the month. It's over 500 pages. I'm intrigued. I'm definitely intrigued. Yeah, so this one is, like I said, one of the bigger books on my TBR for the month of June. Did I say May earlier? I don't even remember. For the month of June. The last 1001 book that I have for June is actually Labyrinths by Borges. I don't have a copy of this book yet. I'll be reading this with Dia over at Novel Idea and Tiffany at Beautiful Minutia. It is not a very long story. It says Labyrinth and Selected Stories. I'll try and put a book cover up here for you. I'm hoping that it comes in at my library, but I don't know. So I'm still trying to figure out how to quite get that one in so that I can fit it into June somehow. But that's my last 1001 book. For my projects, I have 3 projects. I don't know how I ended up with 3 projects. My health and body one, I will be continuing on by reading a memoir by Jennifer Weiner, Hungry Heart, Adventures in Life, Love, and Writing. If you're not familiar with her writing, she often will feature characters that are larger sizes as part of her heroines in her books, which I think is really interesting. I'm really excited to read this one. The cupcake on the front looks really, really good. It looks like a hostess one, doesn't it? But I'm really excited to read this particular one. It says Jennifer Weiner is many things, a best-selling author, a Twitter phenomenon, and an unlikely feminist enforcer. She's also a mom, a daughter, and a sister, and a clumsy yogini, and a reality TV devotee. In this unflinching look at her own experiences, Jennifer fashions tales of modern-day womanhood as uproariously funny and moving as the best of Nora Ephron and Tina Fey. So I'll be reading this with Amanda from the Reading and Writing Life. We are continuing reading books together about this series, and so this will be the one that I pick for the month of June. For my Discover New Author project, I am seriously considering this book. I'd say this is probably the one that I'm the least certain about because of its volume. It's very, very large, but it is The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. I have this one and the second book. My understanding is the third book hasn't been published, and we have no idea when the third book will be published, but one of my friends loaned me this book, and I'd like to be able to read it and get it back to him, but I will be hoping to attempt to read this one in June. It's all going to depend on how interesting it is, because if it's interesting, this is not going to be a problem. If it's not interesting, we'll see if I end up switching it out for something else. This particular book is 655 pages. What's really interesting to me is this one and this one only have about 100-page difference, but look at the difference in the sizes of these two books. So yeah, this one, there's not a blurb on the back. It just says, my name is Quothe. Oh boy. Quoth. Okay, well, it helps you. It says, my name is Quoth, pronounced nearly the same as Quothe. Names are important as they tell you a great deal about a person. I've had more names than anyone else. The Edom called me Mautre, which, depending on how it's spoken, can mean the flame, the thunder, or the broken tree. Okay, I don't like to read too much, but The Name of the Wind, this one is going to be my Discover New Author pick, I hope. I reserve the right to switch this out, so we'll see how it goes. My subscriber favorite pick is going to be this one, The Sentence by Louise Erdrich. I will be doing this as a buddy read with Kelly at Books I'm Not Reading. We have had this planned for months. I'm so excited to pick this one up. This was a favorite of Melinda at Web of Stories, so I love that I get to read one of her favorite books from last year. Again, I know very little about this. I think there's a pandemic featured in it. I think there's a bookstore in it. That's kind of what I remember. That's about all I remember. I know it had a lot of hype last year on YouTube, so we'll see how I feel about it. We'll see. I'm excited to read it with Kelly, though. I think it'll be a wonderful, wonderful read. The last book that I have on my TBR, my official TBR for the month of June, is one that I haven't talked to the person that I'm buddy reading it with about yet. I'm supposed to be reading this with Mitzi from Mitzi Reads and Rambles, and so I'm hoping hoping that we're able to read it. Fingers crossed. And the book is Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmus. I've owned this for quite a while and wanted to read it for quite a while. Started to read it, put it down, saw Mitzi was going to be reading it in June, asked if she wanted to do a buddy read. Very excited about reading it. I just never have quite gotten to it. I love this orange color, by the way, even though orange is not really my color. I don't know. But I do really, really like this one. I actually have an Instagram post where I have the same kind of glasses on and my hair is in a bun. I really like that post for some reason. Maybe I'll put it up here for you. But yeah, Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmus. And that's my official reading plans. I don't know if I'll pick up other things. I do have a library book out, which is this one, Sisters of the Lost Nation. I put it on hold because it's a new release and I was curious about it. And then I got completely worried by the blurb in the beginning of this book. The blurb in the beginning says, Sisters of the Lost Nation includes content that addresses issues of addiction, drug abuse, murder, and death off-page, physical assault and battery, sex trafficking off-page, sexual abuse of a minor off-page, self-harm, and racism. Please read with your well-being and best interest in mind. Oh, has anyone read this? I'm super curious. I am a little bit worried about it, but do have it out at from the library for a little bit. So we'll see if I actually fit it in or not. But it is one that I was intrigued by when I was reading about what new releases were coming. So I don't know if it was the cover and the title that really made me want to pick this one up. I've not read anything by Nick Medina before, so I don't know. But yeah, that's an interesting one. So what do we have? We have Sisters of the Lost Nation, Lessons in Chemistry. Oh boy, this is going to be heavy. In the Name of the Wind, The Sentence, Hungry Heart. I don't know if I can do it. Americanah, Avoid, A Room with a View, and Go Tell It on the Mountain, plus Labyrinths. So that's my pile of possibilities reading plans for the month of June. I don't know. For me, like I said, it doesn't feel as big because I don't have a 1,700 page book and I don't have 2 or 3 BookTube price books left to read. So yeah, that's it. That's my TBR for the month of June. I will also next week have a video for the Big Book Summer Challenge, which is hosted by Sue Jackson. I've participated for the last several years and I'm super excited to get to participate in it. And again, this year, there are certainly books in this TBR that qualify for the Big Book Summer Challenge, which is to read a book over 400 pages. So I have a couple in this already. And then I have a stack of other possibilities that I would love to get to this summer. So we'll see. We'll see. What do you think of my TBR? Have you read any of these? I'm really curious, especially about that Nick Medina book. If you've read that, I would love to hear that as well. There are other events going on. I know it's Pride Month. I know it's June on the Range. But yeah, this is what I ended up with for my June TBR. As always, like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, everyone, thanks. Bye.